for our cultural interlude, and for that I'm joined by Jade Barker. Hello, Jade. We're going to start with the Cannes Film Festival. Now that, of course, doesn't kick off till next month, but we've just found out what will be in the Sidebar Directors Fortnight. What is that exactly?
Well, you're right to ask, because I think a lot of people, when they think of the Cannes Film Festival, they think of the films that are in the main competition, those that are vying for the Palme d'Or, but that's actually several categories, and the Directors' Fortnight being one of them. It was created in 1968 with the idea to give filmmakers a platform, introduce them to new viewers and to critics. A lot of avant-garde films are shown, as well as short films and documentaries that you perhaps wouldn't see in some of the other categories. This section is non-competitive, and it's actually one of the few where it's open to the public. You can actually buy a ticket to the screening, and it showcased the likes of first films by directors such as Martin Scorsese, Ken Loach and Jim Jarmusch, so this gives you an idea of the kind of calibre of films that you can catch in this section.
And what can we expect this year then?
Well, there's 18 feature films, 14 world premieres and 11 short films. There's some films from festival veterans such as Britain's John Boorman and France's Bruno Dumont, both of who had been tipped for Cannes' main competition, but they'll be shown in this sidebar instead. Boorman, who's nabbed the main competition's Best Director prize twice, will return to Cannes with his Queen and Country, which is the sequel to his Oscar-nominated Hope and Glory. It's also the world premiere for Frederick Wiseman's documentary about the National Gallery, which is the American director's portrait of the London Museum's day-to-day operations. And there's British director Matthew Walsh's gay activist comedy called Pride, which is making its world premiere and will also close the Directors' Fortnight.
Okay, now we're going to take a look at some music news. You've had a contralto singer on the show earlier today. What's that then?
Yeah, I'm not sure a lot of people would be familiar with this term, but it actually means...
I've heard of soprano, alto...
Yeah, so
contralto?
Contralto means that it's actually the lowest in the female vocal range. So I had world-famous contralto, who's a Canadian, Marie-Nicole Lemieux, joined me on the Culture Show earlier today. Now, she's starring in 2 upcoming operas here in Paris, and she has a leading role in Tancredi, and was also starring in The Italian Girl in Algeria, both of which are going to be playing at the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées starting in about mid-May. Now, she told me that her singing voice means that she often gets cast as male roles, which is, I suppose you can understand, it's not that surprising, but she really does bring these characters to life, and she's been praised by many critics for her characterisation. I asked her, what comes first, learning the songs or getting into the characters?
It's fun because, I start when I was young with pop music, and it always influenced me. And I have no shame to say that. What interested me at this time when I was listening pop, it was the text. And I kept this passion for the text, for the meaning, the meaning of the words. It's really important for me. And when I'm singing an opera, when I'm singing a song, a lieder from Schumann, it's really important for me that this music, it directly connected to the word, to the meaning of the thing.
Okay, well, we're going to finish off with an instrument of a different kind. This is a Stradivarius viola, which is expected to become one of the most expensive musical instruments ever sold. It's going to go under the hammer here in June in Paris, and it's going to reach over 30 million euros, Sotheby's auction house believes.
Does that make it the most expensive instrument?
Yeah, apparently so. So, if you've got a spare few million lying around, something to invest in. Some are actually a bit perplexed as to what makes this instrument so special, as Olivia Salazar-Winspear explains.
Listen carefully, because this is not a sound you'll hear every day. This innocent-looking viola is a Stradivarius, and a rare one at that.
I've been fortunate to play on many Stradivarius, many Guarneri-style Jezus, but to see a viola is probably one of the rarest instruments in the world that was made by Stradivarius. I mean, in the world you could only find 10, and they're mostly in museums and foundations. So to actually see one and feel it and touch it and play on it, it's truly an honor.
It's one of 10 surviving alto violas made by Alberto Stradivari in 1719, a time when the Italian craftsman was at the height of his powers. The last person to own this model was an Austrian musician from the Amadeus Quartet. Yet not everyone's convinced of the superiority of the Stradivarius. A recent blind test showed that contemporary models came out just as well as the legendary strings.
They have survived for 300 years, pretty much unchanged. So violin makers who are working today are still copying what Stradivari did 300 years ago. And I think that shows that his work has not been surpassed in that time.
Was it the wood, the varnish or the glue used in making a Stradivarius which was the key to its success? Musicians and experts have been puzzling over this for decades. Whatever the secret, it's created a mythical object that Sotheby's hopes to sell for over €32 million.
That's it for Culture. Thank you very much, Jade. Now, some big football news in Britain this Tuesday.